because free speech was illegal. So you start with that. So the only people who could do stand-up comedy were people who didn't say anything about the government, and they were whites. Anyone of any color couldn't do stand-up. So you have this burgeoning industry that pops off. This world that's never existed. In many ways, it was like the wrestling that your dad was a part of and what you started in.
That's right.
It's this ragtag affair of, where everyone knew everyone.
Yes.
You just find the space, you make it happen, you try to get the locals to pop in, and this is it. You don't know how it's going to go, you don't know what it's going to be. You're just begging anyone with a venue to allow you to put on this motley crew of ideas.
Yes. But it's going to be real.
Yeah, but I didn't know about stand-up comedy as a concept. That's how new it was in South Africa. I was living with my cousin and best friend at the time. And they said to me one day, hey, we're going to go to a stand-up comedy show. I was like, well, what is that even? They were like, oh, we're going to go to the show. Come join us. I was like, all right, we roll. We go everywhere together.
Yeah.
I get to this place. It's actually a bar, little corner spot in the middle of downtown Johannesburg, a place called Newtown. And we're sitting there, and some guy climbs onto stage, and it was so ragtag that he had to climb through a window to get onto the stage. It's like a little window on the side. It's not a real stage. Climbs onto this little platform, holds the mic, starts speaking. People start laughing, he does his thing. A comedian named Gidiboni Mlaudzi, a great guy, and he's on stage. But the night was bad. Comedians have bad nights. You know what it's like as a performer.
Sure.
You know what it's like when there are people there. I mean, you were doing it to hundreds, then thousands, then, you know what I mean, tens of thousands of people. You know what it's like when a line doesn't land. You know what it's like when a moment doesn't connect.
You also know the high. That first line hits, and you're off to the races.
So it wasn't working well for the comedians. My cousin gets drunk. He says, he starts heckling, and he's like, boo, this is terrible. Because it's so small, everybody knows each other. The guy from stage goes, he's like, Mlu, shut up, man. You know how hard we're working. He's like, you guys suck. So he says, why don't you come on stage and try it? And my cousin goes, well, I don't know if I could do that, but Trevor can. I'm sober. Now I'm like, I've just been thrust into this mix. I go, hey, I know nothing about this. I have no beef with anybody. I don't want. The comedian turns to me and he goes, oh, you think you're so big? Why don't you come on stage? I said, I've said nothing. And then he like coaxed me. Now it's pride. Now I'm like, all right, let's do it because of the friends.
Yes.
I get on stage, and I remember I literally didn't know what to do, and I turned to my friends. I was like, what am I gonna say? And he said, just tell them that story about the Nigerian guy fixing your VCR machine. Just tell them that story. I was like, okay, and I got on stage, and I told that story, and people were howling. People were crying, laughing. And it connected me to something that has taken me more than a decade to understand. And it's that I grew up in a household and in a country and in a society with so much violence and so much pain that I have loved and yearned and enjoyed for nothing more than to make people feel good. Do you know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Like when people come to a show, and you've seen what it's like, man, people will tell you stories. My dad had cancer, and the only thing we connected around was this show. My family was going through this tough time, and we love this show. There's a powerful thing that you can do in giving to another the joy that you may not even have in that moment.
Yes.
And so that's something that I've